Definitely help with practice tests. Which section would you like to start with? Listening, reading, writing, or speaking? We can
Well,
go through some sample questions together to get you ready.
yes, I want to get started with the speaking test. You can ask me the part 1, then part 2, then part 3, and we will close, and then you tell me the score also.
Perfect. Let's start with part one of the speaking test, which is about general questions regarding yourself. Ready? Part one, introduction and interview. One, can you tell me your full name? Two, where do you live and what do you like about the area? Three, what do you do in your free time? Four, do you enjoy cooking? Why or why not? Five, how often do you use social media and what do you usually do on it? Answer these questions and we'll move on to part two.
Oh my god, you ask lots of questions at once. Can you ask one by one like a real teacher or real examiner? They don't ask lot of questions at once. They ask one by one. Wait for my answer.
You're right. Let's take it one question at a time. Ready? First question. Can you tell me your full name?
Yes, my name is Sumant Devnath Khapre. I am from India.
Nice to meet you, Suman. Next question. Where do you live and what do you like about the area?
Well, I stay in Arab Emirates and I am staying in Abu Dhabi. It's a nice city here. It's clean and it is well organized. There is not much traffic jam and there is wonderful places to see.
That sounds lovely. Next question. What do you do in your free time?
Well, there is not much free time because I'm working as an employee in one company and there is lots of work, so I need to reach office bit early, so I need to get started at home bit early. So generally 1 hour I take to reach there, 1 hour to come back, and it's 9 hours of job, so roughly 11 hours goes into work. Then remaining hours I spend in my muscle building and walking, jogging, cardio and calisthenic exercise. And I like to cook, so I cook food for myself and enjoy.
It sounds like you have a busy schedule, but still make time for fitness and cooking. That's great. Next question. Do you enjoy cooking? Why or why not?
Yes, of course, I like cooking. I use my fry pan and rice cooker to create amazing dishes. I enjoy cooking vegetarian food predominantly because non-veg has its own side effects, so I prefer veg. So I look at the YouTube and learn and then implement.
That's awesome. It's great that you're exploring new recipes and enjoying vegetarian cooking. Next question. How often do you use social media and what do you usually do on it?
I rarely use social media nowadays like Instagram. I remember last time I logged into Instagram was roughly 6 months ago when it was my relative's kid's birthday, because they had posted pics on the social media like Instagram. But apart from that, I don't use it. I use LinkedIn for my professional connectivity and I try to make great contacts there in this country. And some of the people are quite successful, so I like to meet them. But I am making the connection using LinkedIn, so they don't really meet, but they chat in the LinkedIn text field itself.
That's a thoughtful way of using social media for professional networking. Now let's move to part two of the test. I'll give you a topic, and you'll have 1 minute to think about it. Then you'll speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Part two, individual long term. Describe a place you like to visit in your free time. You should say where it is, what you do there, why you like to visit it. You have 1 minute to think, and then you can start speaking whenever you're ready.
Well, that's a great topic. I don't really need 1 minute to prepare. I'll get started now. So, I like to visit various places in this country, United Arab Emirates, and I predominantly like to visit a place called Noor, Abu Dhabi. It's a museum. It's a place where I got chance to meet along with my family few years ago, and I had taken captivating pictures, and I like that place for multiple reasons because it has great collection of very old antique items in that, which is great for a museum. It must have. There are many monuments and statues. I like the statue of King Augustus, and also many other kings statue. Even I saw the Buddha statue inside, and the surrounding of the Louvre Abu Dhabi is also awesome. They have recently started the boating around the seashore, which is very close to that, and it makes fun to see the tides rising and lowering, and it is fun to see those boats which are generally used by people by this hand, and there are no machine boats, but there are few automatic boats which are used for higher rates, and people can borrow it and use it and then return. And also there are few restaurants started which are quite costly for Indians, but those are targeted at European customers. And most of the restaurants are from Europe, and they serve amazing food. I had tried there some items, and those were quite tasty. So I like to visit that place again and again. I'm planning to go there again next weekend. And I also like to visit other places in this city, such as Grand Mosque and Ferrari World and Yes Island. Those are amazing places to capture the scenic beauty, and the people around those areas are also quite cooperative. They like to talk, and they want to show what they like, and they suggest also what one should see next time.
That was a detailed and engaging response. You described the place really well and gave plenty of reasons why you enjoy visiting it. Your ability to share personal experiences, like taking photos and enjoying the surroundings, added a nice touch. Great job! Now let's move to part 3, which involves some more abstract questions about topics related to what you spoke about. Part 3, discussion. Why do you think people like visiting museums or historical places?
I don't know about everybody, but I like to visit just to know what we came through from, maybe 1,000 years ago or even more. What was the world all about that I want to explore? So for that I use museum. I think most of the people also think same like me. They want to know what was there before they born many years ago. So they visit such places, they take notes, they take photos, and then they imagine and keep that in their memory and tell about it to their relatives and friends that this is what earlier we were like that. So few of the items in that museum are very old, are maybe 400 BC. So that time there was of course no computer, and there was nothing like what we have now. So how people used to write? So they used to write with the stone and on the body of a tree. So that's what was written there, and it was amazing to understand like people were knowing the importance of writing and communication skills at that early age also.
That's a thoughtful response. You captured the curiosity that drives many people to visit museums, learning about history and imagining life in the past. It's great how you linked it to personal discovery and sharing knowledge with others. Here's the next question. How do you think technology, like virtual reality or online museums, will affect the way people experience museums in the future?
Yes, that's a great thought, but there is a great satisfaction in visiting the museum personally instead of watching it on
Take
photos
your
or
time. What were
videos.
you about to say?
Yeah, I started talking about it. What I'm saying is, it is best experience to visit a place personally instead of watching it online in photos and videos. So the way we can touch the items and then feel it has amazing experience rather than watching it on the screen. So also the surrounding makes a lot of difference. So if we are at home and looking at the picture on the screen, that doesn't give that satisfaction because surrounding is still our home. But as we go to the places like a museum and physically be there, then that way we can feel it and sense what the item is all about, what we are seeing it. So although the modernization will help in reducing the time and money what people spend on visiting the places, but still the satisfaction what we get by really visiting will still stay active. So there will be pros and cons of modernization, and there will be some reduction in personal visit. So these monument organizers and museums will probably increase the fees to visit so that they can get the enough profit, because number of visitors are reducing because most of the people just look at the screen and experience the monuments, statues, etc. There will be reduction in the profit, but people will prefer to go there personally.
That's a very insightful answer. You emphasize the emotional and sensory experience of visiting a place in person, which can't be fully replicated through technology. You also mentioned an interesting point about how modernization might impact the revenue of museums and how they may adapt to fewer physical visitors. Overall, you did a great job in this speaking test. Your answers were detailed, and you expressed your thoughts clearly with examples from personal experience. If I were to offer one suggestion, it would be to occasionally pause and simplify some of your sentences to make your ideas even clearer. But your content was excellent. How do you feel after going through the speaking test?
May I know the overall score?
Based on your performance in this practice speaking test, I would estimate your score to be around band 7 to 7.5. Here's why. Fluency and coherence. You spoke at length without hesitation and maintained a clear flow of ideas. Occasionally, your sentences were a bit long, which might affect coherence slightly, but overall it was well structured. You used a good range of vocabulary and expressions naturally, though there were a few places where you could use more varied terms. Grammatical range and accuracy. Your grammar was quite good, with only minor errors here and there. For example, phrases like, most of the people also think same like me, could be refined a bit. Your pronunciation was clear, and it was easy to follow your ideas. There were no major issues with clarity. With a bit of practice on refining sentence structure and grammar, you could easily reach higher scores. How do you feel about this score?
Yes, I am happy with the score with a 7 to 7.5. That's nice. Can you help me in answering the question which you feel I performed worst? So you can give me the best answer, maybe bad 9 answer, band 9 answer.
I'm glad you're happy with the score. Let's focus on the question about technology and virtual museums from part 3. I feel this is where we can refine your answer to aim for a band 9 level. Here's the original question. How do you think technology, like virtual reality or online museums, will affect the way people experience museums in the future? Band 9 answer example. I believe technology, particularly virtual reality and online museums, will revolutionize how people experience cultural and historical exhibits. Virtual reality can offer immersive experiences, allowing users to feel as though they are physically present in a museum, regardless of their geographic location. This could make art and history more accessible to people who may not have the means or time to travel. However, I don't think this will replace the value of physically visiting museums. There's something irreplaceable about seeing an artifact up close, in its real context, with all the surrounding atmosphere that a virtual experience can't fully replicate. For example, being in a museum allows for a deeper connection with the art, as you can observe the textures, dimensions, and physicality of the pieces. In the future, I expect a hybrid approach where virtual reality complements traditional visits. Museums could offer virtual previews, encouraging more people to visit in person to fully appreciate the exhibits. Ultimately, technology will enhance, rather than replace, the experience of exploring cultural heritage. This answer is clear, uses a wide range of vocabulary, and balances the pros and cons effectively. It also acknowledges the nuances of the topic, which is key for a Band 9. What do you think of this version?
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you. Let's end the test. We can move on with some other topic.